Hi, welcome to Transformation Tuesdays. My name is Martin Webster and I've spent 3.5 years working at ESCO as a solution architect servicing hundreds and hundreds of our customers. But what we've been doing is visiting these customers and analysing some of their pre-press challenges that we face in our pre-press industry today. But more importantly, I've been in the pre-press and packaging industry for 20 plus years. So believe me guys, I can feel your pain when it comes to some of the topics that we're going to be going through in these Transformation Tuesdays. We're going to be addressing some of the topics and challenges all around pre-press, everything that happens within reprographics, proofing and approval. Narrowing down on some of these challenges, how we can address some of these challenges and finding some really cool solutions. For this session of Transformation Tuesdays, we're going to be looking at the challenges faced around preparing your graphics files for print. So talking about preparing your graphics files for print, let's take a look at some of the landscape behaviours of today. More and more printers are moving towards a digital path. Let's take a look at the flexo industry that started to move down the digital path first, followed up by the folding carton industry, and now closely being monitored by the corrugated industry. We're seeing some fantastic movements towards digital. There's a real need for speed today towards these digital presses. Because of consumer behaviour and customer buying power, there's a real need to get the product to market even faster. Due to the constant pack changes and also more of a personalised data campaigns going on nowadays in the print world, there's so many more pack changes that needed, which means more pressure for our artwork departments. Back in the 90s and in the 2000s, the pressure used to be on the presses. It was all about changeover, getting the press to the finishing line and out the door as fast as possible. That pressure now, because of the personalised data and because of the customer behaviour and the need for speed towards these digital presses, the pressure cooker is now building up within our pre-press departments. There's so many pre-press departments losing their heads today, getting really frustrated because we need to feed these digital presses in a much faster, much more slicker way. But there's one thing that doesn't need to change, and that's the quality of the file delivered to press. So we need to deliver the files faster to press with the same or sometimes better quality. So let's take a look at some of the challenges around file delivery and file processing today. Some of the main topics could be, are your files coming in the correct format? Do we need to do a swap of format? Are they coming in maybe in InDesign and we need to create a PDF or an Illustrator file, for example? How do we check the files are coming in the correct format? How much is this time is really taking up checking? Do our files have the correct bleed? Are we applying the correct bleed to our supplied files? How much time does that take up? It's got to be 5 minutes a job at the very least. A big one for me has always been image resolution. Are our files being supplied in to our specification, maybe at 300 dpi? Are we doing some checks on this? Could we do some automated checks on this? How long is this taking? Do we need to take some of our images into Photoshop and do some real intricate image wizardry to get this right? Also, when we're talking about colour, are our files being supplied with the correct colour gamut, with the correct colour naming convention? When we're talking about fonts, are our fonts always available? Are our customers supplying the correct fonts into our pre-press department? All these checks and sending these files backwards and forwards are just major time wasters for our pre-press departments. When we're talking about marks, ID boxes or proof boxes, why do we spend so much time wasted creating these ID boxes or these marks? And really the next biggest one is going to be barcodes. You know, the industry has a standard for barcodes, especially the pharmaceutical industry. Are the files being delivered into my pre-press department? Are the barcodes validated? Are they correct? The barcodes that we're creating within our pre-press department, are they up to specification? Are they even up to pharmaceutical specification? You wouldn't want to get one of these barcodes incorrect. And trapping, probably the second or the third biggest topic that we're looking at today. You only get one shot at this trapping scenario. How many times has our press guys came back and said, I just want a bit more trapping on this file, or I just want a bit more trapping on this file? How do we standardise our trapping? How much time are we wasting backwards and forwards to the press with these everlasting trapping scenarios? How can we combat some of these challenges? How can we make these jobs appear faster to our presses and in turn get that product to market much, much quicker? Well, what I've seen from my time at ESCO and what I've seen to my extensive time in the industry, that the trick is, number one, let's start automating. So let's start automating some of these checks as the file comes in to our pre-press department. For example, let's automate a check for image resolution. Let's make sure it's at 300 dpi. Let's make sure that the file's got the correct marks. Let's make sure that the barcodes are verified and suitable, perhaps for the pharmaceutical industry. If we're going to automate on the way in, why not automate on the way through and the way out? So we can start to add bleed automatically. We can start to add barcodes automatically. And certainly, I've seen the 80-20 rule when it comes to trapping. So we can add trapping automatically. So the trick is really to automate, to eradicate some of these errors, the files coming in and the files moving through the departments. The second trick is to integrate. How do we integrate around some of these topics? So for example, if we're creating a barcode and we need to integrate that information coming from customer service or coming from our graphic service provider, we can ask the previous process for the information around the barcode, so we can integrate that in our automatic barcode creating system. But also, how else do we integrate? Okay, so we might want to create some marks automatically, and also we might want to do some proofing automatically. So we automatically integrate with our customers or our customer service providers. The third trick around getting a faster file to press is standardization. And if you followed automate and if you followed integrate, then standardization is the next process to follow. Standardize means, again, going back to the trapping scenario, we can automate 80% of our trapping today. I would confidently say 85. So if we're going to standardize 80% of our trapping, that gives our pre-press employees much more confidence about the process, the standardized process that we have in place for our pre-press department now. Sticking on standardized, let's reverse back to the checking scenarios. We could have some standardized checking for image resolutions. We could have some standardized checking for bleed. So all the standardization put us in a safe and more success for process. And the fourth topic is collaborate. So how can we collaborate on these topics? We can collaborate with our graphic service providers, letting them know that we're using a profile to check our incoming files. We can even hand that profile or collaborate with our graphic service provider and hand that back to ensure that they run the pre-flight checks before we're getting the file in. Staying with collaborate, we can even collaborate with our customer service representatives if we've got a continuous flow of information from customer service to press to plate making and eventually to the press. Even tighter, we can collaborate with our customers. Sending out online proofs for approval, for example, is one really sure way that we can collaborate and get a tighter integration with our customers. So if we're going to automate, we're going to integrate, which helps us standardize and in turn helps us collaborate across departments. Let's talk about some of the outcomes that this gives. Number one, the outcome is that everyone feels safe working in an automated and integrated environment because we trust our new standardized process that we've just engaged with. So everyone feels good about the process, everyone feels safe and good that we're getting the correct outcome. In turn, it makes us work more efficiently. Let's not forget, we started this by saying we want to get a faster file to press. So if we automate, integrate, standardize and collaborate, it makes us more efficient because we're automating a lot of our standardized workflows. That creates a good atmosphere for trust. Trusting with our employees, but also trust with our management. But more importantly, trust within our customer presence. Our customers are going to trust us more because we're automated more, because we standardize more and we're collaborating with them more. So it creates a trust process all round. Which in turn, let's not forget the end goal. We want the file to press much faster so we can get that press to deliver to the market much faster, which in turn will give our business more profit. Thank you for watching this week's edition of Transformation Tuesdays. Feel free to drop in at esco.com to find out a little more. Thank you and take care.